Cup Filly Mare Turf time on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. This podcast brought to you by the Iron Horse Racing Stable, top class partnerships in the US and the UK, and always with no markup from the auction price. You pay exactly what we pay. Find more about those guys set down in the bio below. Thank you very much for them for being on board. The Filly and Mare's Turf, Tom, is an absolutely fantastic contest. I think this is one of probably the races of the week, something I don't often say about this contest though.
Yeah, it's a 3-turn race. You don't get too many of those in the US in general or at the Breeders' Cup. There's a lot of speed in here from Full Count Felicia. She looks likely to make the front. The run to the first turn is very short and she's drawn inside, so that would kind of put me on her being the front runner. You don't want to be caught wide in any part of the race. Interestingly, Chad Brown doesn't have a single competitor in here because he said he doesn't like 3-turn races. And bearing in mind, he holds a wealth of talent in this Fillies and Mares Turf division. That's kind of bringing down a little bit of the quality. That being said, there are some fantastic Europeans in there. And more like Goddess too, who's 5-2 on the morning line.
Yeah, Warlock Goddess is currently 6-1 in the UK, which is probably more fair. I think this is a very deep race, though. Cinderella's Dream currently 7-2 in the UK, 6-1 Warlock Goddess, Ylang Ylang at 6-1 as well, as is Content. Full Count Felicia at 9-1, Moira at 10, 16-1, and bigger the rest. We'll start with Cinderella's Dream. She's been the archetypal Charlie Appleby horse. He's gone to America, and she's just taken to it perfectly. She's been absolutely superb in the US.
Yeah, she's been very good the last twice. She didn't face much last time, but the time before she smashed She Feels Pretty, who came out and won at Keeneland in very impressive fashion and is one of the best horses that we've seen so far in this division this year. Charlie Appleby at the Breeders' Cup, the record is phenomenal. She's drawn okay, not amazing, but not terrible either. She's probably the horse to beat. She does have to prove that she stays a little bit further than she's been running over, though.
Yeah, I don't mind the trip for her, to be honest. I think especially at Del Mar as well. And let's not forget, Del Mar, the last time the Breeders' Cup was held here, Charlie Appleby won every single race he had a runner in. I think it was 3 on the day, and we had the debacle with Modern Games when they took the wrong horse out down at the start and ran for purse money only. But Cinderella's Dream, I think, is a strong favourite. We'll talk about the O'Brien pair, Ylang Ylang and Content. Look, Ryan Moore has seemingly opted for Ylang Ylang, who at the start of the year, she looked like she was potentially going to be the next Ballydoyle superstar in the Filly and Mares department.
Yeah, they were talking about her as being a proper classic contender in the UK, but it just hasn't really developed. It's interesting that Ryan's obviously on board with Ylang Ylang. She's a bigger price than Content on both the morning line and over here in the UK at the time of recording. She's drawn one box inside Content in 6 and 7. Pretty good draws. But I prefer Content. Now, I don't like Content as much as I did about 4 weeks ago, I have to admit. I didn't mind them sending her to Longchamp. I thought that was absolutely fine. The ground wasn't ideal for her that day, but she wasn't given a hard ride, and it was just a blowout for what is a pretty fizzy filly. However, they sent her to Champions Day Ascot 14 days ago, and now they're quickly sending over to the West Coast and running in this Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, which kind of leaves me a little bit sad, to be honest, because I backed her anti-post. I've tipped her anti-post at 4-1. She's now 6-1, so not only have we lost value, but we're not getting a fresh filly here. I'm going to stay with her purely on the basis that she ran so well at the Breeders' Cup last year in the Juvenile Fillies Turf. She flew home down the outside in a race that suited prominent racers, and she was definite eye-catcher. This year in the UK, she's proven she's a Group 1 horse. She won a Group 1 at York in very good fashion. Yes, her last 2 efforts haven't been great, but she's better on fast ground, and the setup in this race with the 3 turns is likely to play in her favour. So I'll take Content, and Frankie Dettori's not a terrible substitute for Ryan Moore, is he?
No, that's okay. If you wanted anyone else, he'd be pretty high on the list, especially in this contest. I did like Content. I just don't like the way they've campaigned her. I don't like going to Ascot. Yes, she never got involved, and she was really looked after. She wasn't knocked about whatsoever, but I don't like horses that... I don't really like horses that do Champions Day and the Breeders' Cup as a double. I really don't like it when they throw in Longchamp as well. Ylang Ylang is interesting. Quick mention on Warlike Goddess. I can see her running well. I don't envisage her winning this.
Yeah, agreed. I think she finished 3rd in this race at 2021 when it was last held at Del Mar. She's a very good horse. She's been firing on all cylinders this year and looks as good as she was. But the Europeans tend to come out on top when it's a 3-turn race. Obviously, I've just said that Content is my main pick. I do have another each way fancy. If you want to know who that is, go check it out on my Patreon. Link in the bio below. Hopefully, it's not the same one that Luke's about to pick up.
Might be. I don't know. I genuinely don't know who this is, but possibly. I like two horses in this race. I think Cinderella's Dream will take a lot of beating. I think she's a real out and out America horse. Effectively, she's got a beautiful turn of foot. Charlie Appleby is brilliant at predicting what horses, not just to take to Del Mar, but to California, full stop, in the US, full stop, but California in particular, he's very good at. So that's my idea of the winner with Cinderella's Dream. I think Moira is going to run a massive race in this, though. She's currently 10-1. I put her up a little while ago when she was 16-1. I still think that's a fair each way bet. There's no way she should be a bigger price than Full Count Felicia. Granted, there's not much between the pair of them. Full Count Felicia last time around got a brilliant ride from Kazushi Kimura, and everyone else just let him go on and do whatever he wanted on board Full Count Felicia. That was in the EP Taylor up at Woodbine, got a massive lead in the early part of the race. They couldn't reel her in. Moira was the only one who even managed to get remotely close to the runaway winner of that contest. So I'll take Moira from an each way standpoint. Love the booking of Flavian Pratt as well. I think that is a massive, massive thing. And look back 12 months ago, she came third in this behind Warm Heart and Inspiral. She's more than good enough to feature in a race like this. I think 10-1 is far too big. She'll be a play that I'll take each way or win play show if you're over in the US, but I think Cinderella's Dream is the most likely winner. Content it is for Tom. If you enjoyed this podcast, go check out our other podcasts on the Breeders' Cup. We've got 13 more of them for you to go and take a look at. Make sure to subscribe as well. And when we see you next, we will hopefully be putting up a few more winners as well. Stay safe, look after another.